Hey everybody, welcome to the Tuesday training at 7 o'clock in Philadelphia, the East Coast. We are all here because we want to become real estate investors, so thank you guys for joining me. Now, the question of the day is, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the time, and you don't have the credit, is it possible to become a real estate investor? And now, some of us spoke beforehand, and the answer was actually yes. Now, at first, before this training, you guys were thinking, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, and I don't have the credit, and that's what's keeping me from becoming an investor. But then when I ask you the question, can you be it even if you don't have those things, all of a sudden your brain starts to change and you say, I think I can, but I just don't know where to start. So let's start there. And if anybody has any questions about where to get started or how to get started, please let me know. So I think, Celeste, you had a question about something about how to get started. You had something about mortgages and things like that and buying a property. Could you please repeat your question?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I could barely hear you.
I said,
let me turn the volume up.
You had a question earlier about mortgages and buying a property and things like that. What was
right? So let me tell you my situation so that you understand where I'm coming from. I currently I have two homes. One single family home that I outright own. I paid the mortgage off on that home. I have a rental property that I rent out that I still have a mortgage on. However, a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I took a back seat from my career, and I'm no longer making the money that I used to make because it was so stressful. So I probably make 25% of the money that I used to make. So I've got the time, I've got the credit, money. I mean, I have equity in my house because it's completely paid off, but I really don't want to use that. So I guess my question is, could I buy a house or invest in a house making, let's say, $30,000 a year?
Okay, so it sounds like she's wondering, how do I buy more houses when my income is whatever it is, right? Whatever her income is. And I would say that doesn't really matter, because let me ask everybody, as a real estate investor, if you're going to buy more properties, what are you guys going to do with the properties? What is the point of owning more properties? What is it that you guys are going to do with the properties? So feel free
to sell them.
To sell them? Okay.
Sell them.
So that's one. What's another possibility that you can do with the property? Anybody?
You can rent.
You can rent them out, right? So you can either sell it or rent it out. Now, the question, I guess, is how do you maintain this mortgage if you have multiple properties? Well, it goes back to the original question of what is it that you're going to do with the properties? And if you're going to rent the properties, who do you think pays for the mortgage? I mean, you pay for it, but where do you get the money from? Hopefully you're getting rental income, right?
Right, the tenant. But if you buy a fixer-upper, you're going to pay that mortgage until you can get a tenant in there.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. So her question is, okay, you're gonna have a gap, a delay, right? Here, I bought the property and now I'm fixing it up and I don't have a tenant and I got these bills and what do? And I don't make enough money and I ain't got no time because I got this job that don't pay me enough and then I gotta get a second job and sounds tough. Guess we can't do it. Or we can use what Paul said, was use other people's resources. Now, what kind of resources? What are we talking about when we talk about, have you guys ever heard of the term OPM? Other people's money? OPM, other people's money. So how do you use other people's money to do deals? Also, what kind of money are we talking about? So are they just lending you money? Who are these people? Who are all these people that they keep talking about? What's OPM? Are these just people off the street? Is this a funny special company? Or maybe that OPM, other people's money, maybe that other person could be Visa and MasterCard. You ever consider that? Interesting, right? So it really depends on your situation. Do you have good credit or bad credit? And so if you have good credit, you go this way. If you have bad credit, you go this way. Now, if you have good credit, you can go that way as well. Money and credit is not necessarily it's not a barrier. It just means that you have to be more creative. Now, everything that I'm saying are things that I have done. I don't want to say that you should go do this. I am not a licensed anything. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. I'm nothing, right? I'm just some guy that you don't even know. But I am a real estate investor, and I have been for years. And I've helped a lot of people become real estate investors. So what I'm going to be telling you are things that I've done myself and that I've helped other people do. So just take it as entertainment. Let's put it that way. These are all just my things so that I don't get in trouble. I'm just like, oh, Hone told me to do this. Just listen to it and understand where I'm coming from and what I'm doing. So now, let's say you wanted to buy a house and you didn't have any money. So you're like, how do I buy this house? Well, it depends. If there's a house that you want to buy and it needs to be fixed up. So let's talk about this real quick. Who is the seller? So if there's a seller with this house, usually you're buying the houses from the sellers, correct? You're not typically buying them from the bank or the auction. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But let's just go with the normal cookie cutter of you are buying this property from somebody who's selling it, okay? So then you got to ask the question, does the person selling the property, do they have a mortgage or do they not have a mortgage, okay? So let's pretend like they were selling their house for $50,000 and they had a mortgage for $45,000. That means if they sold you the house with no closing costs calculated, nothing like that, right? If they sell you the house, they would walk away with $5,000. Everybody follow? They want to sell it for $50,000, but they have a mortgage for $45,000. So if you bring $50,000 to the table, $45,000 will go to pay off the existing mortgage, and $5,000 will go into their pocket. Now, Celeste was saying that the property needs work. So this person who's selling the house that needs work, they probably don't want to do the work unless they would have already done it. So there's a reason why they're selling it, and usually it's a headache. We as real estate investors, what we're looking for is we're looking to solve someone's headache. So now, the seller has this headache property. $45,000 is their mortgage. They're paying the mortgage every single month. That mortgage is maybe $200 a month, right? It's a small mortgage payment. So you go to them and you say, hey, I would love to buy your house. I would love to take this headache from you. Now, I understand that you have a mortgage. Here's what we'll do. I'll buy the property as is and we'll close quick as long as you allow me to pay the mortgage on your behalf. So that $200 a month that you're paying, I will pay on your behalf. And the $5,000 that you would have walked away with, I'll give that to you at closing. So you'll walk away with the same money you've always going to be walking away with. And that $200 that you were paying, I'm going to pay that now. So you see how this $50,000 house cost you $5,000, right? Does everybody see that? That little clever thing. This $50,000 house cost you $5,000 now. Now you're paying $200 a month, but it only cost you $5,000 down. So now,
so are you just assuming the mortgage on that house?
I'm not assuming the mortgage. You have to be very careful with the words that you use. So this is not an assumable mortgage. You are taking over the property subject to. This is a strategy called subject to. This is something when you learn these things, your whole life changes. This is what's really cool. When you guys get on this calls like this with people like me who can explain to you the different strategies, you learn something like subject to, and Paul in the chat put sub to. That's like the slang way of calling it, right? He doesn't even spell out the word to, he just puts the number, sub to. So subject to is a way to buy the properties with very little money out of your pocket. So again, the seller walks away with the $5,000 that they wanted to walk away with. And then you have to pay the $200 a month on their behalf. That's why I keep saying it, on their behalf. If it was an assumable mortgage, it wouldn't be on their behalf. It would be yours. You're paying their mortgage on their behalf, right? It's cool, like the languaging. I can see that you guys are starting to pick up on it. The languaging is important. The way you speak needs to be precise. When I speak, I don't misspeak. I will say the words with precision. So you will be paying the mortgage on their behalf, the $200 a month. The bank doesn't know that you are doing it. You just did it, okay? So it's a subject to mortgage. You're not getting their permission. You're not calling Wells Fargo and saying, hey, I'm going to buy this house. Is it okay that Celeste pays the mortgage for me? You're not doing that. You're just making the sale. The mortgage is one document. The deed is another. You guys know this, right? Mortgage is one document. Deed is another. You can transfer the deed to the buyer, and the mortgage can remain in the seller's name.
So I do have a question. Is this done through lawyers or is this done through real estate agents?
So everything I'm going to tell you it has nothing to do with real estate agents. Leave them out. They don't know how to be real estate investors. They have no idea what we're doing here. They just know how to move papers and help you sell stuff. And they'll say, oh, you can't do that. No, they can't do that because they don't know what they're talking about. So, so you would usually do this through a title company here in Philadelphia. If you are in a state that doesn't work with title companies and you use lawyers, then you do it through the lawyers. But typically you handle all of the deed transfers and everything through the title company. In Philadelphia, at least, that's what we're doing. So the $5,000 goes to the seller, and then they transfer the deed. The deed is the ownership to the property. Okay, so now you are the new owner. You got the deed. The deed to the property is yours. The mortgage is still in their name. So voila, you got a $50,000 for $5,000. Now, the house needs repair. So how do you fix it? How do you repair it? Well, there's a couple of different ways. So how did you come up with the $5,000? Well, it could have been cash from your pocket, right? It could have been some savings, whatever. Or you could have used our friend Visa and MasterCard. Now, I say to people, oh, use your credit cards. And people are like, oh, that's risky. Oh, that's risky. So let's talk about that. What's so risky about it? Is it the interest? People think the interest rates are really high if you use a credit card. So if you think it's really high, well, then I guess you think 0 is really high, because that's usually the interest rate that I pay for 18 to 24 months. Right? 18 to 24 months, I pay 0 interest because they usually have a promotional period. Now, again, this is my personal scenario. Some of you guys have terrible credit, so you have no credit cards and you can't do this. But I'm just saying, if you guys have a good situation where you can leverage your credit cards, then do so. You just gotta think outside the box a little bit, right? So people who say immediately, they just jump on it. Oh my God, you can't do that. The interest rate's so high. I pay 0. I don't know why you keep referring to this interest rate as really high, because I don't know what's less than 0 other than if they were paying me, right? So there's promotional rates. You use credit card, you pay that $5,000. You can also use the credit card to fund the rehab, right? You can use the credit card to fund the rehab. And then if it needs materials, Home Depot and Lowe's will often issue a Home Depot or Lowe's credit card to buy the materials, right? And then if you guys are friends with a contractor who might want to be in the business as well, you can say, hey, look, I will cut you in on this deal that I have if you're willing to do the work up front. And then when we're done the deal, I'll pay you on the back end with parts of the profit. That could be a possibility. So you see how you got the materials through the Home Depot and Lowe's credit card. And then you got the contractor to do the work because you were willing to cut them in on the deal if you were going to sell the property. Right? You guys see that? So all of a sudden, I only needed $5,000, which I borrowed from the credit card anyway. And then I just needed the materials, which I got from a different credit card. And then when I go sell the property at the end, I pay it all back and I walk away. So all of a sudden, everybody who said you don't have the money, then how do we know, like if you don't, that was 0 out of my pocket. I used the credit cards and I used all of that, right? So that was 0. Now, there's a good question. Do sellers trust that you're actually going to pay the mortgage on their behalf? Is there a contract? So yes, there is a contract. And in the contract, you can even say things like, if you don't pay the mortgage, and it's been found to not pay the mortgage, that you will sell the property back to them for $1. So the $5,000 that they get to keep. Any work you did to the property, that's theirs. And then there's a contract where you have agreed to sell the property for $1 back to them. So they get the money back, right? The other thing you guys can do is have escrow money set aside to where you're going to be paying the mortgage. And you can say, hey, look, here's a pot of money that if I don't pay it, you can dig into the pot to pay it, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can do to make them feel safer. And All it is about building that trust. And so if they have these kind of like pushback kind of feelings and questions, well, as long as you have a good answer, then they should feel confident. Also, mind you, think about who's selling the property and why are they selling the property. There's a good chance it's just eating them alive. It's costing them money, right? It's just costing them money over and over and over. So then it's like, oh, just take it. Just take it. I have had people willing to just give me properties for free. They're like, look, I got a mortgage on it. I don't care what you do with it. Just take the deed. I don't even want any money. Just take it. And I'm like, wow. You still have to do your analysis, which means you have to learn how to do analysis, right? You got to learn how to do the analysis. So, because you don't want to necessarily take on a property that's bad either, right? Because what if you buy a property for $50,000 and you fix it up for another, say, $60,000? So you're all in for 110, but it's worth 80. Like you're underwater, and that's no good. You don't want to be underwater either. So you just have to be mindful of how you do your analysis. Now, if you have a long-term play, I still wouldn't do it, but if you can rent that property out for years and years and years, at some point it may be worth, more than 110 that you're all in for. But I don't like gambling. I like sure things. I like buying properties where I know that the value is there. And then this way I can refinance and cash out. Now let's go back to that original one where the person did a subject to. So you tell them, and this is also how you make them feel better. You say, look, I'm going to pay you off in the next 6 months. I'm going to pay you off in the next 12 months. I'm not going to keep this mortgage on forever. What you do is $5,000, right? They get the $5,000, walk away. They're good. Now you have this property. There's a mortgage for $45,000, and then you got your contractor who's willing to take payment at the back end, and then you have all these credit cards that you're using to pay for the materials and such. So you got all this debt. Let's call it $80,000 in debt. But when you're all done the property may be worth $150,000, but it required you to do all that work. So then what happens is you go to the bank at the end and you say, hey, oh, bank, I got this property. It's worth $150,000 and I'm renting it out. I'm renting the property out. Could you give me a loan on it? They say, sure, we'll give you $100,000 on this property that's worth $150,000. You're like, oh, great. That $100,000 that comes your way, you use that to pay back everybody you owe. The $45,000 mortgage that was over there by the seller, and then the credit card debt, and whatever you owe the contractor. So you use that money to pay everybody off, and now you have a loan with the mortgage company right there, right? And now you have the tenant in there paying the mortgage payments. So before that, you were using credit cards to fund your way all the way through. And then once you got to the point where there's a renter, you refinance, and then you now have a renter paying that mortgage, and you've paid everybody off. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to put questions in the chat box, but hopefully you guys followed along. Was that powerful? Was that powerful for anybody?
Yeah, I have a question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is it better to buy a home that is being sold or buy a home that is in foreclosure and do that taking over property subject to? That's question number one. Question number two, is it more advantageous to buy single family homes or condos or townhomes with the association fees attached to it?
Everything is number based. There is no,
okay.
All numbers. I can't say because how much of a discount did you get when you were looking at the condo or the single family home or the this or the that, What's the cash flow every each one of those things? What is the association fee? Maybe the single family home has super high taxes to the point where it's more than the taxes and the homeowners association with the condo. So you see your big questions, they can't be answered because it's all math. This whole entire game is math. Has nothing to do with nothing, no feelings. It's not like, oh, I like the house because it's got a red door. Who cares? It's the numbers that it produces, because we're not doing this because we're like, oh, I love real estate. We're doing it for the money. Yeah? Does everybody agree? Put a thumbs up if you're doing it for the money. Yeah? Right. Nobody's like, oh, I love the red door. Who cares? You don't live there. You don't live there. I like that people are using the virtual thumbs up as well. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for doing that. Yeah. but we're doing it for the money. So for everybody listening to this, it's all about doing the math. And so if you guys are like, oh man, I hate math, or I'm no good at math, don't say it ever again, because it doesn't help you. It only hurts you because your brain is listening to the words that you're saying. So if you're saying things like, oh, I'm no good at math, or I hate math, well, then you don't get to be rich. So stop saying it. Set yourself up for success. Set yourself up so if your kids heard the words that you were saying, you would be inspirational to them. Oh, mommy or daddy, they love math. I'm going to love math too, right? Oh, I'm going to be good at math too, because I want to be able to count my millions really fast. I want to be able to analyze my deals really fast on a calculator, right? Because that math is the language of wealth. That's it. So to your questions, what's best? Whatever pays you the most. Whatever pays you the most. Your other question,
I like that.
Yeah. It ain't my first day. But the other question was, is it better to buy it from a seller or a foreclosure or this or that? Again, which one's giving you the best deal? Which one's going to be the easiest to close? They're all numbers based. Everything's number based. So if there's a question, the answer is math. Make America think harder. That was Andrew Yang slang or whatever, right? Make America think harder, math. But yeah, okay, so let's see. Anybody else have any other questions about anything in terms of how to buy stuff, no money, no credit, this, that, the other?
No.
All right, cool. So we're done. See you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, for real, like there's so much more to learn, right? It's crazy. The question always goes like, okay, no money, no credit, right? No money, no time, no credit. Can you be an investor? And then the answer is yes. And you guys all determined the answer was yes. And then I go, okay, so then how do you do it? And then like, oh, well, I need to learn more. Okay, then what do you got to learn? And then I got nothing, right? That's the hard part. So what's crazy is that's truly, that is where people get stuck. They don't know what to ask. Have you guys ever heard of the phrase, better questions get you better answers, right? Better questions equals better answers. So if you have poor questions, you get poor answers. So not to mess with you, Celeste, because I appreciate you asking. But you asked a poor question. Is a condo better than a house? I don't know. Right. Are the windows like got nice like blinds or something? Like, I don't know.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the money, right? So if you said, Hone, I have this property, I can buy it for $50,000. The rehab is $20,000. The rent is $800 a month, but the HOA fee is $200 a month, and this and right. And then the question gets better. I can give you a better answer. I can say, oh, well, that area is a B class, but the cap rate is at a 12. So you're getting a discount because of this and that. Like, you see, that's a much better answer than, I don't know,
sure,
at the door. Right? It goes back to that. Another question that came in was, does it matter the location that I am in? Well, I guess the question would be, is there houses or properties where you live? And if the answer is yes, then you can do it, right? It's funny, right? But no, for real, like, does the location matter? Yes and no. There's properties there, and people are giving loans on properties there, and you can get a credit card in the area that you're in. And I'm going to bet there's a Home Depot or a Lowe's there, right? And I'm going to also bet that there's contractors and renters there, and also people who want to buy houses. All of that's the same all across the country. Would you guys agree? The only difference is the numbers. So maybe a house here in Philadelphia maybe sells for $200,000, and maybe where you are it sells for $300,000, or maybe it sells for $50,000, or maybe $800,000. Who knows? It all depends, right? It all depends on the numbers. But wherever you are, you can get houses, right? And then let's see, we got another. What ways could you market for deals? So where these deals come from? Well, they're people. And how do you contact people? There's a million different ways to contact people. Have you guys ever seen the bandit signs? That's like where you put the sign on the pole that says, we buy houses cash, and then you got your phone number there, right? It's called a bandit sign because you're being a bandit. You're not supposed to do that. That's illegal. You didn't get permission to put that sign up there. But if it works, hey, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm saying that's what I've seen work before. You can also mail letters to people. You can go buy a list. There's a whole list that you can buy, and you can mail to them and say, hey, you can also market on Facebook or your social media of choice. And that's what I do. I talk about real estate all day, every day on my Facebook. And then when somebody's ready to buy, they think of me because they've seen my post yesterday and the day before and that day too. And I post about 15 times a day. So they know what I'm about, right? So social media. You can also talk to people. You can network with, let's say you can talk to attorneys. You can talk to divorce attorneys. You can talk to bankruptcy attorneys. You can talk to foreclosure attorneys. You can talk to all kinds of attorneys who are in touch with people who are in trouble for whatever reason. And usually there's a house and that house needs to be liquidated. So then, voila. Okay. How else can you can network. You can just, you can call all the real estate agents in the world and say, hey, do you have any properties for sale? I'm a buyer in this area. I pay this much. This is what I'm looking for. And if you call them all the time, they know you. Hey, better yet, bring donuts. Bring donuts to their office. Hey, real estate agents, I got donuts for you guys. My name is Hone, and I buy properties in this area. So if you guys have any properties that you want to move fast, let me know. I'm a cash buyer. I close quick. Right? Cash buyer, close quick. As is, I'll be the easiest sale you've ever done. Enjoy the donuts. Right? Just be memorable. Bring Chick-fil-A. That's so much better than the donuts. If you brought Chick-fil-A, oh my gosh, they'll remember you. Oh, that's that Chick-fil-A guy. That's the Chick-fil-A girl. Yeah, right? And then on every single nugget, you got the toothpick with the little sign that says, I buy houses. And then you can put mini bandit signs on the chicken nuggets. Think about that. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. Where you get the property does not matter. What matters is that you are saying to people that, hey, I buy properties, whether digitally or physically. Doesn't matter, as long as they find out. Now, you may be able to like go around and door knock and talk to neighbors and things like that too, but that's again, physical. It just really, the real question is, what are you going to do? I can tell you a million things to do, but if you don't do any of them, none of them work. So really, the question is, what are you going to actually do? And that's the key. So you have to find an activity that you will do. And then do that. That's all it is. It's simple. It's really that simple. There's an activity that you will do that. And also have all the patience in the world. People want to do something for a day, and then they're like, oh, it didn't work, Hone. Well, nobody knows you. Just because you said you're in business today doesn't mean they care. But if you say it the day after and the day after and the day after, and you say it for a year straight, guess what? You're at top of mind now because you said it over and over and over. They know you're the real deal. You're not just in and out. Too many people fail in life, in general, because they just stop doing stuff. They stop showing up. And the people who win are the ones who continue to show up day in and day out. That's all. It's not rocket science. Very simple formula. But the problem is people are always looking for some complex way to win. You don't need a complex way. You just do the simple basic stuff over and over and over until forever, and you win. That's how you win. All right, so let's see. Other questions. How do I know what are good numbers? Well, does it make money? So if you buy a property and fix it up, and you're all in for 100, and you sell it for 90, those are bad numbers. But if you're all in for 100 and you sell it for 200 and you make 100, those are good numbers. So how do you know? You just have to learn how to analyze deals. Learn how to analyze deals based on what you're trying to do. There are two different, so there's a million different ways to invest in real estate. So that's number one. But you got to pick whatever way you want to do it and learn how to analyze like that. Usually it's I'm going to sell the house, I'm going to flip it, or I'm going to rent it out. So if you're going to rent it out, how much do you have to pay every single month to your taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, management, and vacancy, and then your mortgage, right? You got those 7 things. And then if you want to add, there's I'm losing my thoughts now, but the last one is, it's not maintenance, it's like upkeep of the whole house. I'm forgetting my words right now. But so you have to pay things every single month, right? Taxes, insurance, utilities, mortgage, vacancy, maintenance, management, all of that kind of stuff, right? But then you're collecting rent, right? You're collecting rent. Do you make out at the end? is their CapEx. Thank you, Paul. Capital expenditures. That's the word I was looking for, CapEx. So capital expenditures is like bigger things that need repair, like your HVAC, your roof, your windows, I don't know, like stuff goes bad, big things. They need to be replaced. That's called capital expenditure. Mechanicals, right? Yeah. So those are your outgoing costs. What's your incoming cost? Or what's your income, right? So that's going to be your rent. So your rent comes in, $2,000 a month. What goes out? If say $3,000 goes out, then that's a bad deal. So those are the numbers, right? When I break it down that simple, you go, oh, well, why am I even sitting in this class? It's so basic. It is. It's very basic. And that's what's cool about this. This business is very basic, and people become rich in this business because all they have to do is own assets that make them money. They don't need any special skills. They don't need to know how to dance. They don't need to know how to sing. They don't need to know how to put a ball through a hoop. They don't need to know how to do any of that. You just own the asset. It becomes more valuable over time, and it pays you all along the way. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? Because if it required skills, I'd be out of luck because I can't do none of that stuff, right? All I know how to do is acquire assets, and all I do is I shift money around. I take money from over here and I buy it. I buy the property, and then I get money from over here to pay that money back, and then I do that over and over and over and over and over. I'll do that again. I take money from over here to buy the house. And then I take money from over here to pay that back off. And now I got long-term financing over here for this house. And then my tenants pay that long-term financing. And then I win. Nothing magical, right? Nothing I just said there was magical. And nothing that I just said there was like, oh, I got it. That's the secret. But I'm curious. What is it that is causing you guys not to be able to do that? I would love to hear. Feel free to type it in the chat box. Donna asks, is there any particular listings that you use to find the houses? So interestingly enough, I've created a brand for myself where people know that I buy houses, so people bring me houses. It's really that simple. As crazy as that sounds, that's what I do myself. I don't market. Well, I guess if you consider me posting on social media as marketing, but I don't really do any kind of formal marketing or anything like that. Okay, so finding the seller and property that makes sense, and also raising the money. Okay, so raising the money. So we talked about credit cards, raising the money using credit cards. You can use credit cards, you can use lines of credit, and then we also talked about leveraging the seller's mortgage. Now, what if the seller didn't have a mortgage? They wanted to sell the property for $50,000. Then what? What do you do when the seller wants to sell it for $50,000? Well, you look at the situation and you think, hey, well, how long have you been trying to sell this property for? Have you been struggling? Has it been on sale for a long time? Do you want people walking to your house? Do you want to pay a real estate agent to list your property? Do you want everybody in your business knowing that you're selling properties? Is that what you want? And they're like, no, I just want to sell the house and get rid of it. Okay, fantastic. Here's what we'll do. I'll buy the property from you, right? What are you going to do with the money? The seller might say, oh, I got to pay off some credit card debt. I'm going to travel a little bit. I got to move. So I need a moving truck, all that. Okay, cool. How much do you think that's going to be? I don't know, maybe like $7,000. Okay, no problem. Here's what we'll do. I'll give you the $7,000 that you need. The other $43,000, I'm going to pay you that in monthly payments. I'm going to pay you $200 a month for the next 6 to 12 months. And then in 6 to 12 months, I'm going to fix this property up and then sell it. And when I sell it, I'll pay you off. Or I'm going to rent it, and then I'm going to refinance with the bank and pay you off. Either way, you're going to pay him off in 6 to 12 months. And all the while, you're paying him $200 a month. Or you're paying him nothing every single month. And then you're going to pay him off in 6 to 12 months. What you're doing is you're giving him $7,000 now, $43,000 you'll pay later. But it's all in your ability to communicate this strategy in such a way that they don't feel spooked out. You have to know, number one, that this strategy even exists. And then number two, you got to know how to convey it to the seller so that they feel confident that you're like, yeah, I want to deal with this guy. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's do that, right? So boom. Now, once, so that's leveraging a seller, right? here's a Jedi mind trick that Paul just put up. He said, offer them 30 years at first. Hey, you know that 43,000, I'll pay you for the next 30 years. I'm going to give you $1 every year for 30 years, whatever it is, right? I'm going to pay you for 30 years. They're going, 30 years? Are you crazy? I can't wait that long for my money. Okay. I'll do it in 12 months. Okay, fine. We'll do that. Okay, fine. All the while, that's all you wanted anyway, right? And then if you needed to bring that number back, then so be it. So you can leverage the seller financing. Raising money another way is maybe you have a friend who has a job and they're making decent money, but they don't have that much money in their checking account to lend you, right? But you know what? They do have a retirement account. So what you can do is you can actually borrow money from their retirement account. So if they still work at their job and they have a 401k at their job, right now, because of the pandemic, they are allowed to borrow up to $100,000, or they can take out $100,000 completely penalty free for now until November or something like that, right? So they can access $100,000 from the 401k that they have right now at their job. If they have a retirement account, a 401k or an IRA that was from a previous employer, they can do what's called a self-directed IRA. You move the money, you transfer the money to another account for self-directing purposes. And that self-directing, they could direct to you. So you can borrow the money from them, you can do your deal, and when you pay them back, you're actually paying back their IRA. You're not paying them back. And so all the money that they just made from lending you money will go back into their IRA, completely tax-free or tax-deferred, depending on whether it's a traditional or Roth. So it's a really cool strategy. So people have most of their money in a retirement account. So you just have to learn the rules and how to acquire the money from the retirement account. So you, as the real estate investor who wants their money, you got to learn the rules, because you got to help them help you. You got to help them lend to you. If they don't know what they're doing and it sounds all sketchy because you don't know what you're talking about, think, I'm not lending you nothing. This sounds illegal. Don't make it sound illegal. Make it sound real clear and concise. Oh yeah, I do this all the time. I borrow people's money from their retirement accounts or whatever, and then we put it all back later, and it's all tax-free or tax-deferred or whatever. Or if they're borrowing the money from the 401k, they get to spend the money now. So they borrow money from 401k, they lend it to you, you pay them back, they put their $100,000 back in, but all of the profit that they made from lending you $100,000, they get to keep that money because they lent it to you personally, not from the retirement account. I know that's deep, but that's those are some strategies. You just got to know where is the money so that you can access it. What if your friend has a credit card or line of credit that has a 0% interest card? If they lend you that money at 0%, you can offer them 10%. So they're making 10% on their money, and it's not even their money. Crazy, right? So now they're a bank, they're a lender, they're making interest on money that's not even theirs. It's cool stuff. It's cool stuff. So let's see. You could, so here's something that Paul was just adding. He said, you can say this to your lenders. You just took a huge hit from the recent crash. If I could show you how to build it up quickly, is that something you would be interested in? Hey, let me show you how to take the money out of the market that goes like this and might crash again. Because I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. So we had a crash from 27,000 down to 20,000. It went back up, even though unemployment is super high. The market went back up to 24,000 for whatever reason, and nobody knows the answer. And no matter what you say right now, you don't know the answer either. You're guessing. Because if you knew the answer, you wouldn't be on this call. You'd be much richer than all of us put together, right? So you'd just be guessing. So the market went up to 24,000, even though unemployment's super, super high. Is the possibility of the market crashing again there? I would say yes, but I don't know. Now, that uncertainty is unnerving for a lot of people. Very unnerving. So you could say, hey, if I could show you how you can make your money back that you lost from 27, when it went to 27 to 20 to 24. If I can show you how to make from 24 to 27, would you be interested? They'd be like, yeah, show me. And then you show them. And they're like, oh, wow, cool. And you show them through the power of real estate how you guys get to make money, right? So do we have any other questions? Any other good questions that you guys want to go over? So I'm showing you guys all kinds of ways to invest in real estate. I want to hear about what it is. I want to hear from you guys. Why do you want to be investors? You can be anything you want to be in this world. Why choose investing? It's boring. Who cares? Who cares what color the door is? Who cares what color the railing is? Who cares? Why do you pick to be an investor? I'd love to hear from you guys what investing will do for you, or at least what you think it will do for you. I am not a TV screen. I can see you. I am speaking to you, FYI. And when someone speaks to you, it's impolite to just ignore them. It'd be like, hey, nice to meet you. And you're just like, there we go.
I want my money to work for me.
Say that again?
I want my money to work for me.
You want your money to work for you. Okay, once I get you your money working for you, then what do you want to do with it?
Invest more.
I'm not going to say that that's a terrible reason, but it's a terrible reason because just to get money, to make more money, to make more money, to make more money, then you die.
I want to be able to enjoy life.
Say that again?
I want to be able to make money and also enjoy life without having to make somebody else richer. I want to be able to have a financial stability, not only for my future, but also for my son's future, my daughter's future, and all while, taking advantage and the opportunity of the time that I have here now, instead of slaving away for somebody else and making them richer.
Okay. So you're doing it for your kids to have a better life for your kids. Okay, I get you. What else? Anybody else have any other reasons why they are choosing real estate? Milton, you can definitely try again.
I'd like to be able to take liquid cash and move.
Sorry, say that again, Clay. You want to be able to take liquid cash and do what with it?
And be able to make it move.
Move where?
So that I wouldn't physically need to be in a place. Allow my money to be able to make money for me, per se. And I think like housing, I just hear so many people bring this up all the time. And I always like say, okay, yeah, I understand, but I really didn't. So I just took out the time to kind of like, listen to what you have to say and just, use the 2 ears, listen twice as much as I talk right now.
I love that. But your response sounds a lot like Milton's response because you're just saying it different words. Milton's like, I want to make my money make me money so that I can go reinvest my money. And then Clay,
we all want to make money. I think that's a pretty good response. Who doesn't want to make money realistically?
No, I get that. Clay, I think you guys are missing the point. I get that. That's why this whole call is me showing you guys how to make money with real estate. Got it. Okay? Nobody needs to say that anymore. What are you going to do with the money once you get it?
I'd like to definitely build upon like a stronger foundation and put, like future generations in positions to where, they already have a machine moving for them, to dictate their trajectory of where they want to go. Kind of like, develop or I guess build your legacy for, your future generations. When we're going, what are we going to leave here for anyone else? All you really have is your name, or your legacy when you're going.
Some people don't care. Some people don't got kids. There is no generation after them. So you see how it.
Yeah, but that's.
No. It doesn't suck because there are some people who don't have kids, and that's their choice, right? So I want you guys to get. This is a very personal question, particular to you guys, and it's funny that you guys are having such trouble telling me what you're doing with the money. So it tells me that money is such a big thing for you guys because you guys can't begin to dream about what you can do with the money because you lack the money. All you can see is like, I just need money. Give me money, home. Just give me some money. Okay, I get the money. Cool. What are you going to do with it, right? So, Donna, were you going to say something?
I'm tired of working 2 and 3 jobs. I want to make sure my kids have a college fund. they can start off, have a house or, as soon as they get out of school, something that they can build off of.
Okay.
Like something I ain't have. I didn't have a stepping stone. Like my parents weren't there to give me nothing. I just want to do more for my kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I heard you also say you wanted to not work 2 or 3 jobs. So let's pretend like
Right.
you didn't work 2 to 3 jobs. What would you do?
What would I do? It'll be hard to maintain. So,
What would be hard?
just life, period.
No,
It's the society that we live in. Like,
no. I'm sorry. So let's go back, guys. I need you guys to take one step away from your current life. Okay. So I think there's a disconnect. I need you guys to take one step away from your current life. And I need you guys to imagine that you guys become a real estate investor already. This is the power here. This is the power. I don't want you guys to miss this step. You need to step away from the fact that you're just trying to make money. Let's pretend like you've already made the money. What would you do with it? So if you guys heard, right? Donna was like, oh, I got these 2 to 3 jobs. Okay, so cool. You leave the 2 to 3 jobs because you got the money from real estate. What would you do with your time? Yeah, right? And Darrell, is that how you pronounce your name? You want to share something? Darrell? Did you want to share something?
Make more money.
Oh my God, with the make more money. Guys, can you stop it with the make more money? What is wrong with you guys? You guys missed all the words that I said. You missed every single word that I said. Jeez.
I'm excited about the deal.
I would definitely.
I'm excited about the deal.
I would definitely teach it out. Expand my knowledge even more. Take that money, invest in opportunities in different aspects of business and entrepreneurship. Take what I've learned, train other people. Again, back to, I remember I was speaking to you before, how you said if you had a slot machine and every time you put $1 in, you'll get $2 back. Back to that mindset of, why can I teach this to somebody else to have them do that for me as well, while I take that time and invest it elsewhere that'll help build my knowledge and also my financial foundation as well.
Okay. All right. So this is the beginning of what I'm hearing. This is good. But what Terrence said, and I'll put it in different words, is Terrence wants to create a legacy of sorts where he gets to teach other people how to become financially literate as well. So he will put the oxygen mask on himself, and he will figure out how to be financially literate first. And then once he helps himself and he frees himself of his job and he sets up his kids or whatever with college funds and all that kind of stuff, kind of like what Donna was saying, right? After everybody's set up and everybody's good and the family's good and nobody has jobs and we're all making money from our own businesses. And like he was saying, I'm not trying to make nobody rich, I'm trying to make us rich, right? So he's bringing it all in-house. Cool. Then he's like, okay, then I'm going to go around and I'm going to teach other people who don't know how to do this for themselves. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. Do you guys see that? Right? So you're going around and then you're teaching other people and you're showing them that they can have a better life for themselves. Right? And then he's getting that fulfillment, because beyond money, the money doesn't make you fulfilled. Money is just the tool to do something, right? A hammer is pointless without nails. Just to hold the hammer is kind of like stupid. The money is the hammer. What are your nails? What are the nails that you're trying to put in? People are like, I'm gonna buy a hammer and I'm gonna get me another hammer. Like, God, you stupid? Like, what? Why do you keep telling me about the hammers over and over? Like, get out of that. So I'm gonna bring up something Paul said. There's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And for those who have never heard about this is super important. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a triangle, and at the bottom, it says that you need to be able to feed yourself, have clothing, have shelter, things like that. That's your basic necessities, right? So that's the bottom rung of the triangle. The next step up is that you have to feel safe. So if you're hungry and you don't have a house and all that kind of stuff, you don't care about safety. You just need that food because you're like, I'm going to die of hunger. I don't care about safety yet. So once you're full, you got a house, all that, now you can like kind of rest and you can think about other things. And then you're like, oh, is this a safe neighborhood? Are the windows locked? All that kind of stuff, right? You can think about the next stuff. After that, you start thinking about like, what's the meaning of my life, right? What was I put on this earth for? And all that. Like, you can only start thinking about stuff like that. What is the meaning of life, right? You can only think about your purpose and everything else after you've gotten a sandwich. No sandwich, no purpose, no life, no bigger thinking. So right now, it sounds like to me that you guys can't think of the higher levels because you keep going back to the sandwich. You keep telling me, Hone, once I get a hammer, I'm gonna buy me another hammer. And I'm gonna buy me another hammer. I'm gonna buy me another hammer. And I was telling you guys, just in different words, stop telling me about buying more hammers. And then somebody said, buy another hammer in a different way. And I was like, I'm gonna make money move. To where? To the hammer store. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. So I need you guys to think at that higher level. You guys understand where I'm coming from, right? So Jordan put, do they have a why? And then Cynthia says, memories with my children, travel more, stuff like that. That's fantastic, right? And then Paul says, I'm with Cynthia. I travel, unique experiences. And then Jasmine says, mine is to travel and spend time without having to constantly worry about what I'm spending. That's kind of neat, right? She just wants to like have this freedom to just shop and not think about it. It's funny. So I bought a property from a person, right? And I did the subject too. So interestingly enough, it comes together. So I bought this property from this guy doing a subject too. He needed $6,000 to walk away. His house he was selling for $104, and I think he had a mortgage for $98 or something. So it was $6,000 that it was like, here's the check, $6,000, and he was good. And I was going to pay the mortgage on his behalf. While we were just sitting there just chatting, he was like, "Are you rich?" He looked at me, dead in my face. "Hone, are you rich?" And I looked back at him and I said, "Well, it depends. What does rich mean?" And I just wanted to hear what he thought rich was. What do you guys think he said? What do you guys think he said? I said, what do you think rich means? Well, okay, a lot of money. I mean, that's vague. So we can, if he said, oh, have a lot of money, then I would ask him how much money, right? But he didn't say anything about money. He said something very unique. He said, when you go to a restaurant, do you look at the prices? And I was like, that's rich. And for some people, absolutely. For some people, that's everything. Like, he probably shops for what he wants to eat that day based on how much the items are. And hey, that's his life. That's the situation that he was in. So I understand where he's coming from, but it's interesting that people live in such different realities. So that's why I was trying to get to you guys, and I'm trying to figure out, because you have to believe it first. And this is why I was trying to get you guys to go into this exercise. What are the nails for your hammer, right? What is it that you actually want to do with the money? Why are you choosing real estate? Don't just tell me like, I'm doing real estate to do more real estate, to do more real estate, to do more real estate. It makes no sense, because a lot of you guys aren't doing the real estate for the real estate. You're doing it for the money, but what are you doing with the money?
Freedom.
Go ahead, Milton.
Freedom.
Freedom from what?
What I want. Freedom from being tied to someone's job, to freedom for being tied to worrying about money. Freedom to do what I want.
Okay.
Like if I decide to wake up today, take a trip, or take my boat out, or donate it or whatever. Just freedom to do whatever I want, and not being tied to someone else's thing.
Got it. Did you guys hear that? He all of a sudden went from, I'm going to do deals to make more money, right? And I'm going to make more money. And then he's finally getting it. He said, I want freedom. I want freedom from my job. And then if you guys heard it, I want to just hop on my boat. Out of nowhere, he has a boat now, right? See the mentality shift? Now Milton's got a boat. He's like, yeah, I want to just be able to get out there and get on my boat. And then and I want to donate my boat, I can. Like it's crazy. Like you can do whatever the heck you want. It's so cool, right? So that's the power, and I want you guys to like believe that. I want you guys to internalize that. That's why I was trying to go through this thing. I can go through strategies all day long, and the thing is, you're going to miss the point. I can go through a million strategies on how you buy more properties. That's not the problem here. The problem is you guys don't have a strong enough thing to push you. Now, when I was talking to Celeste earlier, and we were talking about all of the different ways that you can find properties, right? And what did I say? The most important thing is that you figure out one that you actually do, right? So
Right.
what is going to cause you to do the action? And it's that why, it's the nail that I was talking about, right? So if you guys don't know what's driving you, then at the end of this whole presentation, or whatever the heck you want to call this, you'll say, well, that was nice. Oh, well, I can't do it, right? Because there's nothing driving you. So let's see. So Celeste, you get that? Do you understand?
I totally get that. And I mean, what's driving me is, you know, just getting up every morning and doing exactly what I want to do, whether it's sleeping in until 9 o'clock, going out, buying some more dogs, buying the expensive wine and drinking wine at 10 o'clock in the morning, or all of a sudden, all right, let's go to Hawaii, hopping on a plane and going to what? Just living life like today is the last day on earth. That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
I like that. You guys like that? You guys hear that? That passion? It's that passion that will cause you to take the action, right? That's it. The action causes the result. In our group, what we say is that knowledge leads to confidence, confidence leads to action, and action leads to results. Everybody wants the result. But in order to get the result, you got to take action. And the reason why a lot of you guys have not taken the action is you don't have the confidence. And why don't you have the confidence? Because you don't have the knowledge. And what do you need to know? The problem is you don't even know what you need to know. That's why when I ask you guys questions, like, what do you want to know? Nobody answers, or nobody asks anything. Because the quality of your questions aren't there yet for me to give you a good answer so that you feel confident in taking action. So then what, right? If you hope to stumble across things by accident, you're gonna wait a long time. You're gonna like I just gave you guys a whole bunch of information, like using credit cards, cutting your contractor into the deal, leveraging the seller's mortgage, leveraging the seller's equity. What else did I tell you guys about? Refinancing with the bank at the end, raising money from your 401k or your IRA, from your friends, all of that kind of stuff, right? I just gave you all of that information really fast. It was really easy for me. Before that, though, you didn't even know to consider those things. How crazy is that? Right? Go ahead.
I do have a question. What would you do if you had access to the cash? However, in the world that we're in today, would you put everything on credit or would you use your cash?
So I did a training once, and it was that's a good question. So do you use the cash or do you use your credit, right? And the answer is which one can I get away with using? So now, which one is more limited, the cash or the credit? And I would say it's the cash. And the reason I say that, or which one's more precious, I would say the cash. The cash is faster than the credit because it's right there already, sitting in the bank account. It's right there sitting in the bank account. I don't have to ask for permission. And there's no risk of it going away. And let's see. And it's finite, right? There's like a limited amount. So I would use credit if I could get away with it. Like, so let's pretend like if the credit took a week for me to access and the cash I could access right away, but the deal that I'm trying to do required me to close in 3 days, then I have to use the cash because I can't use the credit. But if I can close in 2 weeks, then I'll use the credit to buy the property and preserve the cash. Every kind of money has its own pro and con. There's
Right. So it depends on the situation.
Of course, everything depends on the situation, and it all depends on the numbers.
Right.
Math, right? So
Got it.
these are good questions from where you're coming from for the first time hearing this stuff, okay? What happens is, now that you understand that concept that I just told you about, right? Now you're like, okay, I get it. And so then your next question might be like, Hone, well, what kind of money exists? You said you did a training on money. What kind of money? What do you mean kinds of money? Well, there's cash, there's credit, like lines of credit, credit cards, there's hard money lenders, there's 401k monies from private investors, there's mortgages, there's seller finance subject to, right? And so you have all of these kinds of money, and they all have their own particular characteristics. Either fast or slow, a lot or a little, easy to get, more difficult to get, more paperwork. So there's all types of money, and you're going to use the right money at the right time. And then you'll use other money at other times, even for the same project. Maybe I use my line of credit to buy it today, or maybe I use my line of credit and my line of credit and my cash, put that together, buy it today, and then I refinance with long-term bank money that's more difficult to get later, and pay that all back. So then I have these reloaded. If you think about it in another way, it's kind of like having a whole bunch of like guns, and the money is the ammunition, right? So you can have like a big like rocket launcher, or then you have a little handgun, and then you got a rifle. And so they're all different guns for all different situations. You don't use the rocket launcher to shoot at like a person. So it really depends on your current situation, when you guys use this money or that money or whatever. All right, cool. You guys have any other questions about anything? Anybody else want to share what it is that makes them want to do real estate? Or are you guys still thinking about like, how do I make more money? You guys can ask me anything you guys want, right? This is, you guys paid for this. Just kidding, none of y'all paid nothing. It's crazy, right? You guys got all this great information, didn't pay a single penny. It's nuts, it's nuts. But it's funny though, because this, just because you didn't pay doesn't mean it's bad quality. Because usually they'll say things like you get what you pay for kind of stuff, right? But I would argue that my trainings are actually really top notch, and I've actually charged people hundreds of dollars for this kind of training, and people have paid, and they get this quality information. But here's the problem. When you guys are really brand new, you can't absorb the information as somebody else. Consider if you guys were teachers, and say you were a high school teacher, and then you were so used to teaching high school students every single day, and then they take you and they put you in a kindergarten class, and you try to teach the kindergartners math, and you're like, why don't you guys get it? And the kids are like, what are you talking about, mister? Right? It's like, people need time to develop. And you guys are in the early stages of development. Even though you're all big people, right? You're fully grown, you're not getting any bigger. You might get wider, but you're not getting any taller, right? You may get wider, but it doesn't mean that your brain is there to absorb it yet. So you guys are all starting at stage one, which is fine, because we all start there. I started there, right? I started there in 2009, and all I did was learn. And then when you get to level 2, you can understand things at level 2. When you get to level 3, you can understand things at level 3. If I start shooting things from level 9 at you, and you're at level 1, you're not going to get any of it. But just realize, though, what I want you guys to realize is that there is a level 9. There's a level 20. There's a level 4,000. Think about a skyscraper. You know that's real estate, right? That's a big building. It's a real estate play. A skyscraper may cost hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. How do you do one of those deals? How do they structure it? How do they raise the money for that? What's the financing look like? The people who create skyscrapers, do they always make money, or can they lose? Like, this is a conversation, though, that real estate investors have who invest in skyscrapers. Right now, you guys are only looking at little single family houses or whatever, multifamily, duplexes, triplexes, stuff like that. There are other levels to this game, but we got to get you there. We got to get you there. So Paul says, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear, right? All these great, great sayings. And they mean stuff, but people are like, meh, whatever. But in this training, the other thing that we have going on, and I haven't done this yet. So let me see if I can share my screen or something. Screen share. Oh, okay. I think I can. Okay, so let's see. Does this work? Oh no, I'm on the wrong screen. So let me stop share there. Try it again. Let me try it again. Again, I usually don't have a presentation, but this time I was like, you know what? Let me put something together for them. Let me put something nice together, because usually it's just me spitballing like this. Okay. There we go. Okay, can you guys see the screen that says taxes and business? Do you guys see that? You can give me a thumbs up if you can see that, or just say yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so for a lot of you guys said that you want to escape your jobs and leave your jobs and all that kind of stuff, and for good reason. Check this out. So at your W-2 job, imagine you made $100,000. A lot of you guys, dang, $100,000, that's what's up. I'm good. I made it. I made it, Mom. I'm out the hood, right? There's better ways of doing it. You make $100,000. The problem is, as soon as you make the $100,000, you got to pay $30,000 in taxes. What's left over? $70,000. But then let's pretend like your life cost you $70,000. So then what you have left over? Zero. Whereas if you are a business owner / real estate investor, there's a possibility where if your income is $100,000 from your business, what you get to do is you get to spend the money first. That's the big difference. At your W-2 job, they tax you first. And then whatever you have left, you can spend. Here, as a business owner, you make the money first, the 100 grand, and then you spend the 70, and what's left over is 30,000. That 30,000 is what they tax you on. The taxes on 30,000 is 10,000. The taxes on 100,000 is 30,000. So you see, what you got left over is $20,000. That in itself, just learning the tax laws around this, is a huge reason why you need to learn this stuff. Because you guys, even though you're working really, really hard and you're working at a job that you hate, you're still paying more in taxes than everybody else. It's crazy. It seems unfair, but it's not that it's unfair. It's just what the law is, and you guys chose through your action to pay the most in taxes. Now, I said it that way because I want it to sting a little bit. I'll say it again. You guys chose to pay the highest amount in taxes because you chose the job. You chose to pick W-2 as your source of income, and that's the one that pays the highest in taxes. They didn't just give you the job. You sent the resume, and then you sat through an interview. You lied through your teeth about how excited you would be working at that job, and then they gave you the job, right? And then you get mad because you got the job you said you wanted, right? And you lied to them that you're going to love it, and then you go on this training with me, and then you tell me all about how you want to get out of it, right? So, but you guys picked W-2, and it hurts because you guys get taxed the most. The business owners and things like that, real estate investors, we get really good tax benefits. But the thing is, you got to learn the tax laws in order to be able to take advantage of it. If you don't know the tax laws, then you don't know how to take advantage of them. Real estate investors.
So are you saying that we would have to get like an LLC or employee identification number?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that exactly.
Okay.
Because the entity, and here's the thing. So you know the word LLC, or you know the acronym LLC, right?
Right.
You know what it stands for. Let's start there.
Something liability something. I think.
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. Right?
Limited liability company.
There you go.
There you go. Limited liability company, right? So now, a limited liability company is an entity. All it is an entity. When do you use it? What? And then here's the other question, right? And Milton, you seem pretty sharp. Okay, cool. He was like, limited liability company, fantastic. What are the other entity choices?
Sole proprietorship.
Okay, what else?
I'm an accountant, so I'm thinking about it.
What? Hold on. Time. You guys, oh my goodness. Did you, oh my gosh. He said he's an accountant.
Nonprofit.
Hold on, say that again.
I'm a nonprofit accountant.
Oh. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry.
All this is making sense. All this is making sense. I'm just absorbing it all.
Oh man, it hurts my soul because as an accountant, me as an investor, if you were like, Hone, what kind of entities exist? I would be like, okay, he said sole proprietorship. Fine. Okay, sole proprietorship, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, LLP, LP, right? And we can go on and on and on. Right? And it's like, but he was like, oh, hold on, let me think about it. Like, you should just be like, bang, like rattle it off. Tell me the alphabet, right? Tell me the alphabet. Like nobody stutters when I say tell me the alphabet. But anyway, thank you for at least playing along. But yeah, so you got LLCs and S Corps, right? So she says, oh, do you have to open up an LLC? Well, I don't know, actually, because other entities exist. So if other entities exist, when do you use them? They have their own place. Do you use all of them everywhere? Obviously not, because there's a different one, right? There's a different entity. Again, these are just like different tools in your toolbox. You don't use a screwdriver to put a nail in. And you could do it, it just is inefficient to do it, right? You can run all kinds of businesses out of an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, but it doesn't mean that they're all efficient at whatever they're doing. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, cool. So let's go into the next slide. All right, so what we have done is we've put together a curriculum that allows you to learn all about investing in real estate. So we have hours and hours of training that will teach you all kinds of basics and advanced strategies so that you guys can do more deals. Ultimately, you guys kept telling me, I want to do more deals. I want to do more deals. Great. You'll learn how to do more deals. We have over 450 hours worth of online training from all of these different instructors. Let's see. So here's some of the topics, right? Some of the topics, some of the instructors. So there's short sale, subject to, creative acquisition, wholesale, lease options, fix and flip, commercial real estate, credit management, financial acceleration is actually what that's supposed to say. Raw land development, foreclosures. So you guys have heard of some of these words. You just need to know how to actually use them now. Nightly rentals, seller finance notes, real estate mastery, multifamily, auctions, payroll services, private money, CPA and taxes is what that guy, Mark Kohler, teaches. And then self-directed retirement accounts, IRA. So that's what I was talking about earlier, how you use retirement accounts to do that. And then Megan Christensen with business credit. Then you got Nathan Tabor with multifamily fix and flip. How do you flip apartment buildings, right? That's just a whole nother level. How do you flip a 100-unit apartment building and make $1 million? That's what he teaches. There's a bankruptcy attorney. Velocity banking. How do you pay off a 30-year mortgage in 7 years? 1031 exchanges. Cost segregation. That's all about how to reduce your taxes, right? Really cool stuff. Now, let's go into this. This is our basic classes. These are called the essential classes. I want you guys to pay attention. The essential classes have these different classes within the essentials program. The essential is velocity banking, tax and legal, self-directed retirement accounts, understanding credit. You also learn about you learn about the real estate market. You also learn about the deal in a decade, where to find it. Real estate red flags is a very creative one. That is all about how do you watch out and not make mistakes so that you keep more of your money. A lot of people want to jump into real estate. They just want to buy stuff. They just want to buy properties. And what they don't realize is that they can lose money as well. Real estate red flags covers all that. And then creative acquisitions is like the subject to, seller finance, lease options, all of those kind of things. The creative acquisition goes into how to actually apply it. So this is your essentials program. Next up, we got our Profits program. Our Profits is all about business development. So if you guys have a business, then this is for you. This is all about how to build your business in the right way, in a way that it operates automatically. You walk away from your business, it still makes money for you. It's an ATM machine. This class, it's all about also how to sell more, how to make more money from your businesses, how to keep more money from your businesses. And if you're trying to make a business, how do you do the business plan? How do you do the financials? And how do you market it? So all of these classes are all about business development. Really, really intense stuff in there. Finally, we got our extreme classes. All of these classes here are all advanced trainings. There's over 46 classes. They're about 8 hours each. There's hundreds of hours of classes here. And it's all about taking it to another level. So now, let's talk about how you join the program. So there are 4 different packages that you get to choose from. You got A, B, C, or D. A is the essentials, B is the profits, C is the extreme, and then D is A, B, and C together. Essentials, if you guys wanted to start at the basics, the essentials class, the starter pack, as I wrote, it's $399 down. So if you choose to finance it, it's $399 down. You finance it for 18 months, and you pay $116.54 a month. After the 18 months, you end up paying $24.97. If you choose to not finance and pay in one payment, you can pay $19.97. So you essentially get a discount, right? You get a discount for the class if you choose to pay it in full. What you're getting 12 classes, you're getting weekly coaching, you get lifetime access, and this price is for 2 people. So it's awesome. You guys get to split the cost and you get lifetime access. So like I was saying, it's going to take a while to go from kindergarten to first grade to second grade all the way up. That's going to take you a while to learn. But it's important that you get started so you can have better questions. Package B, that's the profits class. That's the business one. $599 down, 18 months, $174 a month. In total, that's $37.49. Or if you pay in full one time, that's $29.97. 9 business classes all day, group coaching, lifetime access, price for 2 people. Package C, that's the extreme, $35.99 down. That's for 36 months, $524 a month. $22,497 is what you're going to end up paying, or you can pay in full, $17,997. That's at 46 classes, but you also, the big difference is you get 6 one-on-one coaching classes, 6 one-on-one coaching classes with the instructor, or you can get the EPX combo. That's Essentials, Profits, Extreme. That's the combo, $45.98 down, 36 months, $670 a month. That's total of $28,741. Or you can pay one payment, $22,991. FYI, that's the one I did personally. So I am a student of this education. I learned from all of those people. That's why I know this stuff so well. I've learned from those classes, and I went with the EPX model. In my head, what I said was that if I learn all of this stuff, I can make enough money to pay for this education without a problem. And that's exactly what happened, right? I was my good investment. Everybody's looking for a good investment. Should I buy single family homes or should I buy condos, right? Oh, which is the better investment, Hone? Look in the mirror. And that's what I did. Looked in the mirror. I invested in me. I learned this stuff. And then I was able to do more deals. Do more deals, make more money, and gain the freedom that you guys are looking for. You guys get to order from the menu without looking at the prices. All right, so those are the prices, all for 2 people. You kind of pick and choose wherever you fit in, wherever you want to get started, fantastic. Pick one, get to work, start learning, right? Pick one. I picked D, you don't have to pick D. You pick whatever you want. But it definitely revolutionized my life. Next, here is the local support. So what we've done is we've created a curriculum, and this is just what we're working off of right now. Once we're done, July 21st, we're going to go do it again, right? So if you're just hopping in, and what's today, May 12th, right? So self-directed retirement plans and rehabbing day one. So let's say you're just hopping in now. You're like, oh, but I missed all the other classes above it. Well, once we finish, you just follow along going down, and then we're going to restart, and you start back at the top going down. That makes sense, right? You guys, there is no starting point. We go through everything over and over and over again. Next is our local support team. So Zoom trainings every week. So right now we are on a training, but you guys are not the students. There is another Zoom training going on right now. And last month I was hosting them. So you see me in that picture. All of those people are students. It's kind of like they were you guys before, and then they said, I'm going to join Hone. And when you join, you go into the study group. You watch the videos, and then you come to the study group, which is a Zoom training now, and we discuss the topic that we just learned. We also have property tours. So if you look at that picture at the bottom left, this is a property that one of our investors bought. So it's actually the guy that's standing right behind me with his hat on backwards, with the beard. So it's his house. He was working on it. He still owns this house. It's a rental property for him, but he was showing us what he did. So he opens up his house. We also have fundraising parties. So upper right is the last fundraising party that I threw. This is where we raised $14,000, and we gave the money to two different parties. One, we gave it to the wait staff because wait staff don't get paid enough. So we gave it all to the waiters and waitresses that helped us that day. And then we also raised money for a contractor whose son contracted cancer, or not contracted, but like had cancer. And they just needed some money to get by because I guess cancer could be very expensive. So we raised money for this contractor that has done work for us. So in that party right there, we raised $14,000. And the way we did it was we auctioned off all of the different investors, and we allowed people in the audience to bid on having a lunch or dinner with that investor, which is really cool. And finally, we have a Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. Right there, you see we got a couple hundred members. So that's a private Facebook group that allows for all of the members, once you join, to get together and ask questions. So if you have questions about anything, put them on the Facebook group and you can get an answer. In our group now, we have a lot of professionals, like attorneys, CPAs, what else? Architects, contractors, you name it. Like we have all of these different people in our group. And why that's powerful is when you have a good question, you put it in there, they can answer it for you. All right, so are we back, or let me see, stop share. All right, so we're back. Okay, so what questions do you guys have about what it is that we do? So we are a group, we're a local group that helps you become better real estate investors. We all learned from our education system that I just showed you. So you got all those classes that you get to learn from. So you have the support team, and then you got the education. You put the two together, you do more deals. Everybody said that they wanted to do more deals. And so this is where you learn about how to do more deals. So that's the program. And that's where you're going to learn more about how to raise money. What entities do you use? Also, somebody asked, how do you get your deals? Well, a lot of times the people in the group provide me the deals. So that's how I get my deals. And if you join the group, you get to hear from the other members the details of a deal that's right there. So just recently, somebody from the group brought a deal that was a seller finance deal where the seller was willing to take $300 a month and you get to have the deal. And then you get to pay them off in 5 years. So that was a recent deal. And if you were in the group, you would have heard about it. So that's the kind of stuff that the group offers, the education and the support. And so then if you join, you guys get all of that. So what kind of questions do you guys have for me?
I have one question. Your packages, they all include, they're two-person packages. Do you have any one-person packages?
No.
No. So I'd have to find someone to go in with me.
You don't have to. You just have to pay the full price.
Right. Okay.
Yep. So there are people who join who are like, I don't have any friends. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Join Join, and then you'll be more likable. You'll find somebody later. Celeste, how did you find out about the group? How did you find out about this training today?
Shifanda told me about it. I told her I was interested in, getting my real estate license. I kind of retired 3 years ago when I paid my house off and did all the other stuff. My money's kind of running out now because I don't collect Social Security yet.
Yep.
And I didn't want to get back into the corporate world. So I off my savings and I need to make money somehow. So she told me about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to make money. There's a ton of ways.
Yeah.
Here's what's interesting for everybody who's still here, right? If you say no, which you can, you're like, oh, Hone, thank you for the presentation. I'm not interested. Fine. You go back to whatever you had. Whatever you have right now, you have. You get to go back to that. If you say yes, everything gets to change. I hope that one lands for you guys. If you say no, because you're looking at the money, because the only reason, and I've done this presentation before, the only reason why people don't join, typically, is the money. If it was free, they'd be like, oh, I'm in. But because it costs money, all of a sudden something goes up and they're like, no, I'm not paying for that. I have YouTube. And then I think to myself, like, did you get YouTube recently? Is this a new occurrence? Did you just find YouTube for the first time? You always had YouTube. You have what you have because of YouTube. You have what you have because of what you know. Like, this can change everything because it's going to introduce you to new ideas, new concepts, new things to think about, and allow you to have better questions. If you have better questions, you get better answers. You do more deals, and then you can leave whatever job you want if you choose. If you start doing deals. And now I'm not going to say like, oh, you join, you guarantee you do deals and all that. All I'm saying is that this education makes you smarter. And with that education, you can do different things. That's really what I'm saying. If you say no, you have what you have. You say yes, everything changes. Or potentially changes, right? Potentially changes. It has for me. When I joined, I was already doing deals. But what I learned about how to raise money, how to do creative strategies, how to save on taxes, all of that kind of stuff, I was just like, man, this is everything. So I did 10 times more deals. There was this one time I closed on 12 houses in 6 months. And I was just like, oh, wow, this is cool. I bought 3 houses in one day. I was like, nice. Because I had never done that before. But this education allowed me to do that. So it's hard to get people to see what's possible for them because of that Maslow's hierarchy to me. They're still starting here and they're like, Hone, I don't have that much money. And you want me to pay for education? I already have a little bit. It's like, well, how do you plan on getting more? Like, even if you don't pay for the education, how do you plan on getting more money? And a lot of people don't have the answer. So they just want to hold on to what little bit that they have, thinking that that's going to change something. And holding on to that money doesn't actually change anything. It allows you to pay bills for a little bit more, but that's it. That's it. It doesn't make you any smarter. And that's the problem. Terrence, he says, I'm saying yes. So Terrence actually was in the meeting last week. Same meeting, different structure, right? Because like I said, I don't have anything planned. Terrence sat through the meeting last time and I just kind of freestyled then as well. Terrence, would you agree this is completely different than last week? Because I have no idea who you guys are. Oh, you're on mute, Terrence. I think Terrence, I don't know. Terrence, if you're trying to talk, you're on mute. Can't hear you right now. But
oh, sorry about that. Yeah, but that's why I wanted to join again. New information, different information. Right now, my brain's a sponge, and I'm soaking it all up. And I am going to be joining that the class and everything like that. So yeah, I'm here again.
Yeah,
you'll be seeing a lot of me.
How different was it from last week and this week? And are you any different? That's a more interesting question for me.
Absolutely. Again, it's like we spoke on in the last class, it's changing your mindset. And like I mentioned before, that was one of my biggest problems was my mindset, and being in the mindset like, oh, I can't do this, and like, how am I going to do this? And instead of actually just going out and making it happen, I'm completely looking at the situation a whole lot differently now,
Got it. Wow. That's good.
and also learning more. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's I'm glad you came back to view this again, right? Because yeah, if this is a big decision for you guys, then great. Come back next week, whatever, right? Like just be open to the idea of your life changing and how that's going to actually happen. You know, you got to have a plan. If you're just like, I'm going to do nothing and just hold on to my money, then I mean, that could be a plan, but I don't know how that works moving forward. I have a cool training too coming up. If you go to honesloans.com/wow, honesloans.com/wow, I have a training. It's Thursday at noon, Thursday, 12 o'clock. And it's all about a cool way that rich people hide their money. It's like when you go into this rabbit hole deeper and deeper, you get to learn all kinds of cool stuff. So honesloans.com/wow. And that presentation's 12 o'clock. You guys are gonna learn a lot. Just like this conversation right here, you guys get to learn a lot. And I don't know what you're gonna take away from it. So Celeste, what's going on in your mind?
I'm just deciding on which class I want to take. And if I want to bring my son with me, if I'm going to pay the price, I may as well have him join too. He's about to be a father, so I'm about to be a grandmother. I'm very excited.
Oh, wow. That's
So yeah, I'm just deciding on which class I'm going to take.
Yeah. Imagine that. I'm guessing your son's not a real estate investor right now.
He is not.
Right.
No.
So imagine that you and your son become real estate investors, and imagine how different your life and
Yeah.
yes, your last name or whatever, right? Your legacy, like moving forward, like
Right.
your son, your grandson, your great grandkids, and so on, and then they all have properties. It needs to start
Exactly.
somewhere. I don't know where
Yeah,
that.
but I'm spending all the money that I make.
Right. Here's a neat idea, right? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Here's a neat idea. Oh no. Okay. Oop. Oh man. There we go. Can you guys see this or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, I gotta share my screen first, sorry. I was like, what the heck? Okay, let me share this. I want you to look at this as a way of how your life, how you might want your life. All right, so check that out. Come on. 1, 2. Okay. Imagine you had a portfolio of 10 properties and they all cash flowed $500 a month. If each property was worth $200,000, that's a $2 million portfolio. And you would be cash flowing $5,000 a month passively. They all have mortgages and everything. This is after you pay your mortgage, right? You cash flow $5,000 a month passively. You see how you don't run out of money when you own the assets? You see how you're not depleting your savings when your situation's like this. So you're making $5,000 a month, and let's say you do that for the next 20 years. And then you say, you know what? I want to treat myself and I want to buy something really nice. You know what you do? You sell one of the houses, or you refinance one of the houses and you pull the money out. And so all of a sudden, you now have an additional $200,000 if the property didn't go up at all. If the property didn't go up in value at all, you have at least $200,000. If in 20 years it went up and was like $500,000, now you have $500,000 you just peeled off, right? You still got 9 more to go. So this is an idea that I want you guys to internalize, that you guys can create something like this if you guys learn the strategies. All right, back to it. So Celeste, you know how you were saying that, you know, you're running out of money. If you own the assets, you don't run out of money because the assets keep generating new money. That's the plan. Most people are going to fail during retirement because their 401k is not hefty enough to pay for their life for the rest of their life. Most people, not just you, Celeste, right? It's like most.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's scary. It's scary. Yeah. Jordan says they have a 201k. From a 401k to a 201k. So it is scary when you don't have any solution, right? It's scary when you don't have a solution. What I'm trying to do is provide you guys solutions so that you don't have to end up in that situation where you run out of money. That's all I'm trying to do. Just think about it. Don't think about today. I want you to think about 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years, and 40 years, and 50 years from now. What are you guys going to do? You're going to keep on doing your jobs, or 6 jobs, or 3, you know, like 10 jobs? You're going to be working at Walmart, greeting people? Like, what is your lifestyle going to be if you don't learn this stuff? That's a tough question. What is your lifestyle going to be if you don't learn this? If you don't learn this, you're just going to continue to do the jobs that you always knew to do. That's it. There is no other choice. You want to have that flexibility or that freedom, right? You want to have that ability. Only 2 retirement plans: get rich or die early. Good one. Jordan's comment: 2 retirement plans: get rich or die early. Well, for a lot of people, it's die early.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to get rich. And it's just a math problem. And everything I showed you guys was really simple, right? It wasn't like rocket science. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Just now it's a matter of learning it. So if you guys are interested in learning more, you guys can also go to homesloans.com/follow-up. homesloans.com/follow-up. Just put your information in there and we'll try to follow up with you. Also, the person who invited you, does everybody know? So like Celeste, you know, Siobhan invited you. Does everybody else know who invited you? Like Milton, do you know who invited you? Or Corey White or Danielle? You guys?
Yeah. Shavonda.
Shavonda as well? Okay. Milton? And Corey?
Yes, Carlo.
Carla Hill. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Cool. So yeah, reach back out. A lot of times what happens is we do like a 3-way call. So it'd be like me, you, and Carla Hill, me, you, and Shavonda, me, you, whoever it is, unless it was me who invited you, right? And we just do a 3-way call, and then we'll just hear your individual questions, like, so it's not on a public forum. And then also your days, right? You're like, we're gonna get off of this call very soon, and then you guys just get to think, and then you're gonna be like, wow, he said a lot of good points, and he's right. If I don't say no, I get this, and if I say yes, I get this, and what does that look like? Most people don't think that far, and most people end up with what they end up with. You want to be special. You don't want to end up with that kind of like grim look. Imagine if all of your parents had the same opportunity and they said yes. Imagine how different your life would be if your parents said yes to an opportunity like this and they learned all this stuff. Then you wouldn't have to be learning it from scratch. So at some point it changes in people's lives. You could be the change, or maybe it's your son, or maybe it's going to be your grandson. At some point, maybe it happens, or maybe not. So this is what people deal with every single day. So I've done my best today to give you as much as I could based on the questions that I've gotten. I've given you guys 80 tries to give me a good question, and I answered it as best as I could. So the next time we talk, I hope that you guys have better questions, and I'll give you a better answer, right? So that is all that we have for today.
I do have one more question. Should we wait to like buy a property until after we finish the classes, or if we have access to that cash now and we see a good deal and we put some things on paper and the numbers work out to our advantage, should we move forward?
There's no graduation date.
Yes.
There's no graduation date. There's no
graduation date?
no graduation date. There's no license to achieve. There's no certificate that I'm going to give you at the end.
Okay.
This is nothing more than a tool to get you to become real estate investors faster. That's all it is.
Got it.
And if you come
Got
across a deal and it pans out and it pencils out and you're locked and loaded and you got the resources, hey, let's get to work.
I'm trying to get those huge apartment complexes and big corporate buildings.
It's all a math problem. It's all it is.
Yeah.
And with apartment buildings and big corporate buildings, it's really just math. It is, once you understand it and learn it, it is nothing more than a math problem.
Got it.
But that's the next level. You gotta get to
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Great information. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, so definitely catch me on Thursday. Go to that one website that I sent. Register there, and then if you guys want, you and definitely go up to the follow-up as well. So.
Great.
Yep. So that's that. So if you guys have anything else, so.
Thanks, Owen. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. So if you guys want to talk at all, just reach out to the person who invited you, and then the three of us can get on a call. All right.
Great.
All right, guys. See you
Awesome.
guys later.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
See ya.
Bye-bye.